Welcome to this episode of Locked In. In this episode, I'm going to be talking about what my experience has been trying to attempt my first Festive 500. Basically, if you don't know what Festive 500 is and you haven't seen my video on it, essentially you try to ride 500 kilometers between Christmas Eve to New Year's Eve. So this is my journey. Please enjoy. Alright, so it is day one of the Festive 500. It is a doomy and gloomy Christmas Eve, but I'm going to be taking the Cobalt Warhawk out. I'm left the 43C Panaracer SS tires. I'm going to be doing just some basic flat miles today, trying to get in around that 45 mark. And I'm going to be still changing these out to my road wheel setup, the Whiskeys with some either 32s or 35s on them in the Gravel King slicks. I want to see if I can actually tell the difference going back to back. So let's get on the bike. I'm obviously doing a casual t-shirt ride in my Slow But Look Pro t-shirt. I got my vest just in case, but let's hit the miles. Got a good podcast to listen to, and hopefully we can just zone out and enjoy some time on the bike. So it's starting to sprinkle and it's cold, so this would be my luck on the first ride. Super crazy headwind and starting to drizzle. All right, so for wind wise, I'm doing like 200 watts to try to do like 10 to 13 miles an hour. For anybody who knows wattage, my FTP is like 215. So this is gonna be this is a lot of work. I'm hoping for a killer tailwind on the way home. Well, it's officially like sprinkling pretty hard. And normally I would just say screw it and keep riding, but I didn't prep for that. I didn't see anything on the weather that it was gonna be, so I'm gonna throw my vest on and try to complete at least 35 miles today if I can. We'll see how that goes. Obviously, great start to the Festive 500. All right, so it lightened up. Luckily, it's still pretty cold. I know it's California. Put my vest on. I'm gonna try to make this about a 30-mile loop, and then I have a Christmas gift to deliver, so that's gonna add in about 13 or 14 miles. So hopefully, if my calculations are correct, I'll be right at about 38 miles, give or take a mile or so. So that'll put me a little bit at the bottom of where I wanted to be. I wanted to be at that 45 mark, but that just means I gotta ride a little bit extra, hopefully tomorrow on Christmas. So time to hit double back, and hopefully the weather gets better. Before I head back, I'll have to say these Panaracer SS's make a great rain tire. It was really slick on some of the roads and no slip whatsoever on the little punchy climbs I had or cornering. It felt very stable, so I definitely would recommend these if you do have not perfect weather and are looking for a good mixed condition tire. But let's head back and hopefully the weather gets better. All right, so I am 36 miles in, taking a quick break. I am feeling it on day two just because I forgot my electrolyte tablets, so my legs are cramping a little bit. So I'm just gonna eat this little peanut butter pancake thing I made and finish the last, hopefully about 10-ish miles. All right, well, it is day 3 of Festive 500, and I did do a little bit of a change up. The last 2 days I've been riding on my Scribe wheels with my Gravel King by 700 by 43 SS tires, and those have been great. And like I mentioned in the review, they roll really well, but I figured, hey, why not on day 3, since I've had about 80 miles on that setup back to back, is set up my new set of 35C Gravel Kings on my Whiskey carbon rims and see if I can actually tell a difference by the end of this ride. If I feel any faster, granted I am kitted up and look fast because I've been basically doing t-shirt and shorts rides for the last 80 miles. So we'll see what this brings today, but yesterday was beautiful. The weather has definitely turned around from day 1 and I'm happy about that. I'm going to hop on the bike and get going. right, so it is officially day 4 of the Festive 500, and I am definitely feeling it, Mr. Krabs, today. I am happy that yesterday was such a beautiful day ride, and I didn't get any footage, but actually one of my buddies, Aaron, was on his Specialized e-bike, and he actually helped tow me back the way home. I did a ride that was about 2,000 feet of climbing, but as of right now, my current stats are, I am 208 kilometers into the 500 for Festive 500, and realistically today I honestly wanted to take a break. I was kind of trying to do 45 or close to that miles per day, but I wanted a rest day in the middle, but it looks like there's going to be a potentially rain all this evening and most of tomorrow, it looks like. So I'm going to try to get in a flat quick 30. I didn't really have any idea where I wanted to ride, so I ended up honestly just like picking a point that I've never been to about 15 miles away and just let Google kind of tell me where I'm going to be going. So I'm going to be putting in my earphone and just letting it tell me where and just kind of zone out and try to enjoy this ride and see some new stuff. That being said, I did honestly notice a little bit of difference in the wheel setup and tire setup yesterday when riding. I know I mentioned if I would honestly tell the difference, and realistically, like I mentioned in my review for the Scribe wheels, it was basically just above that 20 mile an hour or so mark is really where I felt the difference between these two wheels. But let's get on the road and crush some miles. Hopefully it doesn't rain too much tomorrow so I can get some more miles in and not have to do a huge mega day on day 8. But we'll have to see how that goes. All right, well, it is definitely chillier than I expected. I thought I was gonna warm up today because I got a late start. I was actually editing a big video I'm really excited to release for the channel. I did bring my vest and my neck gaiter just in case. But like most people recommend, you wanna ride for about 15 to 20 minutes to fully heat up. You wanna be a little uncomfortable when it's cold out and you're riding. So everyone's a little different on what you wanna warm up for. I usually know that when it's mid 50s or below the entire ride, or projected temperature, I will always keep knee warmers on because of a torn ligament I have, and I'm way more likely to throw those on before a vest. So that's something to consider definitely when riding in colder weather. You gotta brave it for the first little bit. So I'm just listening to Google and taking it wherever it takes me, just to explore a little bit. I'm trying to make all these rides a little different, so I'm not doing the same exact route every time. I may use similar bike paths, but at least not the same total ride. All right, so I'm halfway done. I'm 15 miles in. It was a nice, mellow, easy route, and again, I just let Google kind of pick the way. I'd say I'd give it about a B+ as far as recommended routes. There was only a few sections that were kind of sketchy. Most of the lanes that didn't have bike lane were pretty wide, but there's a few streets that weren't, but overall pretty happy, and I got to kind of see a different side of a local area. It did take me a few funky ways that I would have changed of me turning back around, heading the same way, or maybe a different way depending on what Google says, on the way home, and finish these 30 miles off for today. Excited for tomorrow. After about the first 30 minutes, the cramping and soreness I felt in my legs pretty much went away, so I'm glad I did a very easy spin today. But let's finish out today. All right, so it is day 5. I have 3 days left to finish the Festive 500. I couldn't ride yesterday. I thought I got some footage, but apparently it didn't. It rained, thundered, and everything, which is definitely not usual for California. So I didn't ride yesterday. I definitely enjoyed the rest day, and I'm gonna go out and try to get about 40 to 45 miles today. That's gonna leave me with about 40 or so tomorrow, and then on New Year's Eve, my buddy Mario and me are gonna try to get about 65 miles in. If all goes well, we are gonna be finishing this thing, and I'm super stoked. The bike setup is gonna be basically the same as yesterday. I'm just in a road kit, so I don't have my maglock caddy. I'm just gonna be throwing this camera into my middle of my jersey. So let's just go get some quick miles. It's not anything super pretty. It's just the river trail, unfortunately, today, but hopefully we'll have some cool views when we hit the beach. All right, so it is day 8 of Festive 500, and spoiler alert, just like apparently every other cyclist on YouTube, not gonna make the 500 this year. We are gonna basically aim for a 60-ish mile ride today, which with the current amount of kilometers should put me at that Festive 420. And that's what I'm doing this year, so I feel like that's pretty close. I'm about 40 miles away from it. Yesterday just didn't happen. So we're gonna be doing a big loop, and Mario's gonna be back on his bike. We just rebuilt his Surly, he repowder coated it, so it's looking fresh. So we're gonna go break it in. It's been a journey. Hopefully this day will go without no mechanical issues on a brand new bike. So fingers crossed, let's get some miles. So we are 41 miles in, definitely feeling it. I think right now I'm probably like 20 overall hours in, and I haven't ridden that many miles or time in probably 2 months. So we're gonna try to finish this last few miles, but man, my body is just sore, but we're hoping for that at least the 420. I'll be happy with that. So we're back and we survived. I am definitely saddle sore. I think that was predominantly what I felt most. A little bit of soreness in my thighs, but overall still really happy. Did 424 kilometers, so still in that Festive 420 club. And here's my final stats from Strava. I did a total of 263.8 miles with 6,568 feet of elevation gain. Moving time, 18 hours and 7 minutes. That is the most I've ever ridden in 8 days, so I'm still proud that I did that. I was about almost 50 miles short, but still regardless, especially with the weather and the rain, I think it would have been definitely doable. With that day of no rain, I would have ridden a little bit, but either way, still happy with the results regardless. But comment below on how many kilometers or miles you got in for your Festive 500. So I hope you liked this video. If you did, please make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Turn notifications on so you can see all the cycling content I put out on this channel, as well as you can follow me on Facebook and Instagram and support Locked In via my Spreadshirt or Patreon. Links for all those things are in the description below. And thanks for watching this episode of Locked In. Let's get locked